Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at a clip that has gone pretty viral on social media already, and it's generated some controversy, I guess is the best way you could put it. There's a lot of people out there who see this video and they don't like it because, you know, the police are quote-unquote overreacting and they harm, I guess, these climate protesters by arresting them or whatever, right? And, you know, this is something that we've seen before, right? It's nothing new. This is not the first time we have seen protesters get arrested in the United States, right? But I guess these climate change activists, which, I mean, let's be real, like, doing climate change activism in 2023 is kind of like asking people if they know Coca-Cola in 2023, man. Like, I feel like everybody in the world already knows what climate change is and, like, knows that it's viewed as a problem, and I don't really see what more awareness you can really bring to climate change at this point, man. If it was like 1982, I guess I could get it, but dude, it's been like my entire life now. All you hear about is climate change, bro. It's not like people don't know what this is. But anyway, I guess Burning Man was going on in Nevada, which is like a yearly, I think, event where people build like this big stick guy or whatever and they set him on fire and whatnot. It's like a big ritualistic kind of thing. I don't know. I've never been, but apparently these climate change activists decided that this was an event where they needed to protest at, and they went to Nevada and they blocked the road with a massive display, basically blocking up traffic, you know, just trying to get their message out there, and the local police did not handle that very well. They did not think that that was something appropriate, and it culminates in the following clip. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Get out now! Get out! On the ground! All of you on the ground now! Get on the ground!
We're not violent!
Get on the ground!
We're not
Don't move!
violent! Please!
Give me your last name and date of
So
birth.
who's threatening to get the gun? No one has a gun.
Date of birth.
No one has a gun.
We
Just
have
stay
no
there.
weapons at all!
Officer, will you tell me where you're
We're environmental protesters! Please!
Trespassing on tribal land.
Please! She's
Stop
over here!
resisting!
Please!
Stop resisting!
Please!
What the fuck is happening? What the fuck? Our friend is getting fucking hurt!
Stop!
She was just standing here. What the fuck?
He's hurting!
It's okay, kill
I'm
him.
not part of this. I'm not part of this.
I'm a detainer.
Holly, look at me.
Prepare myself.
With your vehicle.
Are you waiting to get through on the traffic? Shot.
Brenda, shut.
Michelle, Phil. Phil back. Sorry.
Alright, so, in the video, the Nevada Rangers, as they're called, I guess, is that like their state highway patrol? I don't really know. Apparently, it's like a legal, law enforcement agency in Nevada. They bulldoze the display that is blocking off the road. One of the officers comes out with his service pistol drawn. Several police officers then kind of swarm the scene. They start arresting all of these activists, and they start gathering up all their materials. And like I said, man, this has led to some interesting takes on both ends of the spectrum here from people online, right? Now, on one hand, you have a lot of people who are like, you know, these police officers are based, what they did was the right thing, fuck these climate change activists, they shouldn't have been blocking the road. Then you have people on the other side that are saying that this is anti-American and the police officers violated these people's rights and this should not be stood for. So I just want to go ahead and discuss this in general to kind of, you know, give my perspective on everything here, because honestly, I think if you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you'll notice I am a very patriotic person. I'm really huge on the Bill of Rights, on all of the amendments enshrined in the Constitution. However, I am not anti-consequences to your actions, and unfortunately, in my opinion, that's exactly what these climate change activists actually ended up getting. Now, people say, oh, they shouldn't have bulldozed their display that was in the middle of the road. That was dangerous and it put people's lives at risk. It's not like the police set up this big barricade for themselves to drive through that endangered all these people. These people endangered their own lives by going out in the middle of the Nevada desert, which is hot as fuck, by the way, it's summertime. They decided to sit down in the middle of the road with a bunch of fucking signs and displays and whatnot and block up the road to the point where there was a miles-long traffic jam. And then, as the police approached, they decided to continue it until the police got to the front of the fucking line and ended up just handling them how they handled them, right? So, the police didn't put anyone's lives really at risk. Now, the one thing in the video that I do think was a little bit unnecessary was the police officer drawing his service pistol. As it stood, nobody really appeared to be a threat. Nobody was visibly armed. There was, you know, like 3 or 4 other trucks of police officers there. I don't really think that was the most necessary thing. I don't think that was something that needed to happen. But ultimately, it wouldn't have happened if these fucking idiots didn't go out in the middle of the desert and block the road so nobody could use it. Now, another thing that people are saying is, oh, this tramples their right to protest. This tramples, you know, their freedoms enshrined in the Constitution. This is un-American. Well, you do have the right to protest here in the United States. That is simple fact. You definitely have the right to assembly. You have the right to free speech. You have the right to all these different things. But you don't have the right to unannouncedly sit down in the middle of the road and block traffic for political causes. That's not protesting. If you want to protest, go downtown to the fucking courthouse and get a permit to stand on the, like, sidewalk or whatever and fucking hold picket signs. That's how you do a protest. And even if they were like on the side of the road holding picket signs and not really impeding on traffic, I really don't think most people would have even had a big problem with that, right? But the fact of the matter is they're blocking the fucking road, and this Burning Man thing is quite a big event. I mean, a lot of people are drawn to it. There's a lot of economic output from these kinds of things. So these climate change activists are quite literally blocking commerce. They're blocking active, you know, societal exchange, which that's not a protest. I'm sorry. Going and sitting in the middle of the fucking highway and shutting it down, you're not protesting, you're inconveniencing hundreds, if not thousands, of other innocent people who've done nothing really that wrong. So you can selfishly fucking ramble on about the same issue that everyone has already been fucking aware of for like 30 years now, dude. And let's also point this out, right? Like I said, there was a miles-long traffic jam, right? So ultimately, people's safety was put at risk for this fucking display. Now, how is that? Well, once again, I mentioned this is Nevada in the middle of the summer out in the desert, right? It's fucking hot. Sitting out there for an extended period of time without adequate water and adequate resources could definitely lead to somebody getting hurt, whether it be from heat stroke, something like that, right? This is a miles-long traffic jam, right? Like at that point, you're starting to risk somebody running out of fuel once again in the middle of the fucking desert, and then they can't run their air conditioning or anything. But guess what? They're stuck in a miles-long fucking traffic jam, so where are they gonna go? Also, hypothetically, let's say some sort of unfortunate tragedy happened at Burning Man, right? I don't want to even get into the details, but what if ambulances and first responders needed to get to the event promptly, and now they can't because these fucking idiots not only have blocked up the entire street so no one can use it or get around them, but once again, there's now hundreds of fucking cars backed up on the road that can't move or go anywhere, so these idiots can feel important. And that's what it really comes down to. These people just want to feel important and want to feel like they're doing something, because let's be serious, climate change protests like this do literally nothing to solve any modicum of climate change. What the average person can do has pretty much already been done. A lot of people are transitioning to electric vehicles. A lot of people have already started recycling and fucking being more mindful of their waste. They already want you to use fucking paper straws everywhere you go, even though they don't work. If you want to really protest climate change, go sit on the fucking airport tarmac where all of your favorite Hollywood fucking movie stars and all your favorite celebrities that you idolize and worship, Go sit on the tarmac where their private jets are taking off 4 different times a day, so they can fly 35 minutes away and land at another airport, and then take a fucking Uber convoy to their friend's house so they can take some Instagram pictures. You really care about climate change that much, why don't you start petitioning the fucking Chinese government and developing countries and whatnot to curb their CO2 emissions, considering pretty much all the other developed countries in the world already have? Why don't you do something like that? Why is it gotta be sitting in the middle of the fucking road inconveniencing everybody else? Because, you know, they would never have the balls to go to any of the people causing the real problems and fucking, you know, protest them. That means they would actually have to do something. Then they can't film TikToks of themselves blocking the roads like they're fucking Martin Luther King Jr. of climate change or something. And let's also just point this out, because this really just nails the fucking head of the nail down even harder right here. So they're protesting climate change and curbing emissions and, you know, helping the planet, but their method of curbing emissions and helping the planet is to cause a miles-long traffic jam where hundreds of vehicles now have to sit exposed to the environment and just constantly idle their engine, which creates even more emissions. And then you multiply that by hundreds, if not thousands of cars, and yeah, you just got a fucking toxic cloud of emissions coming from this road now. All because these climate activists have decided to fucking block the road. So I guess in their efforts to curb climate change, they're only making the fucking problem worse. This is the reason why most newer model cars, like, I mean, at least mine and a lot of the other ones I've seen, when you come to like a fucking red light or you're sitting there waiting for a train or something, the engine kind of like shuts down to the lowest level that it can while keeping the car on, and it fucking doesn't sit there and constantly idle. That way it curbs emissions. But obviously not everybody has a newer model car that does this. And so a lot of people in that fucking line are sitting there just dumping emissions into the air, and there's really nothing that they can do about it because of these morons blocking the street. Now let's circle back again, as this being their quote-unquote fundamental right to protest, right? Yes, you do have a fundamental right to assembly and to protest in America. There are exceptions. There are rules to this. You can't just show the fuck up in the middle of I-75 in Atlanta, shut the whole fucking thing down, shut down all the interstate commerce with your little signs and expect for that to go okay. Same thing here in Nevada going to Burning Man. You do not have the right to sit on the road that all of the fucking taxpayers pay for and block up everyone else's access to everywhere else, right? Because ultimately that's the facts of the matter, right? You, me, and everyone else on the road right there, we pay the taxes that keep these roads fucking built. So now you're just sitting in the middle of it so no one can use it, and you're just creating more issues than one in an effort to solve a problem that realistically 9 fucking hippies in the middle of the desert are not gonna solve. And I believe in climate change. I believe climate change is an imminent issue to many people on the planet. I do believe that there's a lot of other things that we could do to address the problem, but you're never gonna see me doing something like this because it's fucking moronic. Not only does it defeat its own purpose, it inconveniences everybody else, it puts people's lives and safety in jeopardy, and it's just self-centered in the first place. I mean, genuinely, how long are climate change activists gonna keep going on with these fucking picket signs acting like nobody knows what's going on? Ultimately, like 90% of other problems on the planet, none of us can fucking do anything about it, bro. The only people with any level of control who could do anything about it are the people in office who don't care to do anything about it. And as long as it's financially profitable for all of these massive Fortune 500 companies to keep fucking dumping, you know, toxic oil air into the sky, right? Like, that's essentially what's going to continue happening, no matter how many fucking hippies sit in the road in the desert, man. Now, once again, if these people were peacefully protesting on the sides of the road, or if they had gotten a fucking, like, a license to do it from the government, or they were doing it in a way that didn't impede on everyone else's right to exist, I wouldn't have a fucking problem with it. But that's not what was happening here. And ultimately, they fucked around and found out. The police came through, they scooped everybody up, they all sat there and cried like bitches, and then they ended up getting dragged off the road. That's what happens when you block the fucking road. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about this because, like I said, there's been a lot of debate about this online. So with that being said, man, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, blocking the road for a climate change protest, and signing out.